This is the image that Washington cannot escape this morning. It's not a poll. It's not a leaked memo. It's a live map glowing red across Europe, Asia, and parts of Latin America, tracking a phrase that has detonated across the global internet. Make America go away. What started as a sarcastic hashtag has evolved into something far more dangerous for the White House: a coordinated cultural and economic rejection of the United States as a brand. Airports that once symbolized American gravity are quiet. Hotels are half empty. Conference bookings are evaporating. This isn't a recession. It's a refusal. And President Donald Trump is now facing the most humiliating backlash of his political life. Not from governments, but from the global public itself. Asterisk in the last 72 hours. International travel interest in the United States has collapsed at a speed economists say is almost unheard of outside of war or pandemic conditions. Airlines are quietly slashing routes. European tour operators have frozen U.S. packages. Asian business forums are relocating events from New York and San Francisco to Singapore and Dubai. The message spreading online is brutally simple. Why spend money in a country that openly despises you? The Make America Go Away movement isn't organized by a central group. There is no leader to arrest, no headquarters to raid. It's viral, decentralized, and emotionally fueled. And that's exactly why it's working. Asterisk inside the White House. The mood is described as tense and frantic. Trump understands branding better than almost any modern politician. He knows that American power doesn't just come from aircraft carriers or trade deals. It comes from desire, from the idea that the world wants to be closer to America. That idea is now cracking. When consumers choose not to buy, not to visit, not to collaborate, there is no executive order that can force them back. Tariffs can punish governments. They cannot shame a teenager in Paris into buying an American sneaker. They cannot compel a family in Seoul to book a vacation to Florida. Capitalism only works when people opt in, and right now, the world is opting out. Asterisk the backlash accelerated after a sequence of events that many abroad saw as proof that the U.S. had crossed from aggressive to unstable. Rhetoric that framed allies as freeloaders. Public threats against trade partners. Chaotic reversals on international commitments. And above all, viral footage and reporting that reinforced a narrative of internal disorder. Whether fair or not, perception is reality in markets. And the perception forming globally is that America has become volatile, hostile, and unpredictable. For international consumers and investors, unpredictability is poison. Asterisk. Europe was the first region where the cultural shift became visible. Influencers in Denmark, France, and Spain began posting videos canceling U.S. subscriptions, swapping American brands for local alternatives, and encouraging followers to spend with dignity. Cafes quietly removed American products from menus. Fashion creators highlighted named U.S. brands. The tone wasn't rage, it was dismissal. And that may be worse. Anger burns hot and fast. Indifference spreads quietly and lasts. Asterisk then, Asia followed. In Japan and South Korea, where public opinion is highly sensitive to respect and stability, the movement turned corporate. Major retailers began emphasizing domestic or regional alternatives. Tech competitors framed their products around reliability and neutrality. Marketing language shifted subtly but unmistakably away from the U.S. The implication was clear. American products now come with political baggage. For global companies, that's fatal. Asterisk, Wall Street noticed almost immediately. Analysts began using a phrase that should terrify policymakers: reputational risk premium. When a country's reputation deteriorates, every asset tied to it becomes more expensive to insure, harder to sell, and riskier to hold. This isn't ideology. It's math. If global consumers avoid U.S. brands, revenue projections fall. If tourists stay away, service economies shrink. If investors fear instability, capital flows elsewhere. No sanctions required. No treaties violated. Just choices. Asterisk what makes this moment especially dangerous for Trump is that it hits sectors he cannot easily bully into submission. Tourism employs millions. Consumer brands rely on global goodwill. Tech companies depend on cross-border data flows and international trust. When European regulators even hint at restricting digital access, Silicon Valley listens. When global consumers turn away, advertising dollars follow. And unlike a political opponent, a market doesn't negotiate. It reacts. Asterisk the irony is impossible to ignore. Trump's promise was to put America first, to make it dominant, respected, feared if necessary. Instead, the world's response has been to quietly ask for distance, to build alternatives, to reroute attention, money, and admiration elsewhere. Not because America is weak, but because it feels unsafe to engage. In global economics, fear doesn't attract, it repels. Asterisk diplomatically. The silence is deafening. Calls that once would have been returned within minutes are now delayed or deflected. Statements are issued without warmth. Meetings are postponed. This is not confrontation. It's insulation. World leaders have learned that arguing publicly with Trump only feeds the cycle. Ignoring him starves it. And for a figure who thrives on reaction, silence is a form of pressure that cuts deep. Asterisk, the deeper concern, now spreading through policy circles, is contagion. Once a boycott mindset takes hold, it doesn't remain neatly targeted. It spills. A protest against leadership becomes a rejection of institutions. A rejection of institutions becomes a rejection of the country itself. That's how soft power collapses, not with explosions, but with erosion. America's cultural dominance took decades to build. It can be damaged in months. Asterisk, and there is no reset button. Even if rhetoric changes tomorrow, trust does not snap back instantly. Brands take years to recover once labeled toxic. Countries take longer. Made in USA was once shorthand for aspiration. Today, in parts of the world, it's being quietly treated as a liability. That shift alone could reshape trade patterns for a generation. Asterisk, Trump reportedly believes this backlash will burn out, that the world needs America too much to walk away. But history offers a warning. Empires don't fall because others hate them. They fall because others stop caring, because they build systems that function without them. The Make America Go Away movement is not about punishment. It's about replacement. Asterisk, this is the uncomfortable truth now facing Washington. Power in the modern world is optional. Influence is rented, not owned. And right now, millions of people across the globe are choosing not to renew the lease. Whether this moment becomes a temporary shock or a permanent realignment depends on what happens next. But one thing is already clear. The backlash is real, it is global, and it is no longer symbolic. America isn't being attacked. It's being avoided. And in the 21st century economy, that may be the most dangerous position of all.